Welcome back to D&D. So, last time you had found yourself entering into the city proper, into the outer city, and you decided that you wanted a tour. So you found a orc who was able to give you a little tour of the city, brought you around to various stores. You did a bit of shopping, got some maps, visited a bookstore, found out a little bit more about the city itself and the political landscape of it before eventually finding a hotel and retiring to some rooms, with Kaito retiring to his private suite. The rest of you are in two rooms that are across the hall from each other. So, what would you all like to do?
Have we taken a rest and woken up yet, or are we still?
Nope, still night, or as night as you know it to be.
We should sleep.
Okay.
Seems like an idea.
Okay.
Uh, Suggest we have watches just in case.
Okay.
We're safe in the inn, Graham. We don't need to set a watch.
We're surrounded by slavers underground and highly obviously outsiders.
Something can only get us if we're there to notice. And awake to notice.
You do the first watch, I guess. I'll do it solo. To give you guys some flexibility.
All right.
Okay. Otto will take first watch.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm eating. Since
Yep.
perception, where are you?
All right. And where are you waiting? Are you in the hallway?
Eh, I'll I'll go between the hallway. I'll like take a walk around once in a while up and down the hall.
Okay. Uh, Otto,
Even
give me a perception check, please. Okay. Otto, you don't really see terribly much. You see a number of people entering, exiting the rooms. Um, Mostly it's uh, orcs, dwarves. You see only the occasional drow. Um, you see a number of people who are visiting the hotel, having looks to have gotten a companion for the night. You see a pair of women. One's a tall orc woman and a short halfling woman. But beyond that, you don't really notice anything strictly exciting, so the night passes without incident. Or at least your watch does.
cool.
I guess I'll take next watch, also solo.
Okay. Grant, go ahead, give me a perception check. Okay. Uh, Graham, don't really see too much. You see the occasional person here or there. Um, but ultimately, the watch is without incident. You do notice a number of people kind of leaving rooms. They look to be wearing very little in the way of clothing before they head out and down the stairs to the main floor.
As you do.
But your watch also passes without incident.
Lovely.
Fern can go next with Aurora, I suppose.
Okay. Give me a perception check, please.
Oh my gosh, ready to go. I just saw it.
I should really open this laptop and air it out because this is so loud.
Fern, you don't really notice terribly much. Um, you see a number of people entering, exiting rooms. Um, you do see that they kind of eyeball you a bit as you are standing out in the hall with a shiny wolf and you are a rabbit girl, but nobody really hassles you or talks to you. So your shift passes without incident. Um, everybody gets the effect of a full, long rest.
Yay.
Hooray.
Hey,
See, totally safe.
You know what? Yeah, you're totally right. Graham was like about to try to launch into like the what's the name of that the paradox like if you preempt the pandemic then everybody thinks your precautions were unreasonable, that phenomenon.
Yes,
But then he doesn't, he just gives up.
that's probably for the best.
Probably.
All right. You're not sure what time of the day it is in the surface, but you would know that you at least got the effects of a full 8 hours. What would
Small
you
favors.
I'm gonna
all like
ask.
to do?
I'll ask Graham if he has any idea how he plans to rescue so many slaves in the city.
Well, during Graham's morning prayers, he was gonna pray to Eidos and ask for guidance on how to not only liberate these slaves but get them out of here alive, because it's a little bit beyond a ragtag band of plucky adventurers at the moment.
Gynos grants Graham 1d4
The
to
vision you
rescuing
saw was a
slaves.
giant fireball in the middle of the city.
Roll to rescue the slaves. I got a 20.
Graham, during your morning prayers, you don't really get any ideas, no divine inspiration from Eidos, but teachings of Eidos also tell you that patience is a virtue.
True. Graham will attempt to exercise that virtue while not burning the whole place down like fantasy John Brown.
Sometimes you just gotta cause a stampede.
Graham
A
takes
mild to
over.
moderate ruckus.
Graham take over Harper's Ferry, but it's spelled fairy like the creature.
Harper's Fay. All right, so today on the docket,
What if we put every? How big are pocket dimensions like for mimics of holding and stuff?
I believe it is a 3 by 3, by 3, so it would be 27 cubic feet. Was it?
Oh, so there is eventually a capacity.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the thing in question.
Yeah, I was gonna jokingly suggest why don't we throw 110,000 slaves inside Hank?
Get in the bag.
Hank has all the space of a bag of holding. Nope,
He's just-
it's 2 feet in diameter and 4 feet deep. It can
So we
hold
could maybe save a couple of halflings.
It can hold a volume of 64 cubic feet, so it's actually a little bit better, but no more than 500 pounds.
Design an epic level spell that turns people into the meatball inside the Grand Canyon. You can change them back, right? I got another spell I got to research.
I have mass polymorph into meatball. Lasts
Meatball form.
24 hours.
Quel horreur.
And then like at the hour 20, like 3 and almost 50 minutes, we just like roll all the meatballs out.
Oh, excuse me. Oof. So I guess we probably need to figure out, like, try to get in good with one or more of the noble houses.
Yep.
So I guess look for mercenary work, because I'm sure there's plenty of that.
I could pose as a traveling jester and perform for the noble houses.
That's a thought. Is there any like postings where they need mercenaries too?
Yeah, why don't we look for the job postings, as it were, because we'll kind of get an idea of what's going on from that.
Okay.
That's important.
Okay.
I think we had to like talk to the guard people, right? And they were supposed to get us a pass into the inner city or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right. I'm remembering something like that. It was a couple weeks ago.
You were also
Yeah.
offered help from the private detective.
Oh yeah. It's
Oh
really
yeah.
So
what the private detective is if we need it, right?
well, I'm sorry, was that?
We know where the detective is if we need them.
Yep. She gave you a business card.
I guess we can take a quick look see at the card.
Okay. The card itself is just shows. I mean, it's not. Let me actually pull up my notes on this one real quick. So, the card itself just shows. It just says the title detective agency, which is Dupla Detective Agency, and it has a very crude map drawn on it, which shows where it would be located on what street intersection. So, without you probably could find it without too much trouble.
And I remember that there's not supposed to be very accurate maps of, like, I think the inner city.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there exist very accurate maps of the undercity. If we were to need one at some point.
Maybe.
We just, yeah, we have it.
You want a map? I'll get you a map.
Yeah, we just need an accurate one. They don't want to give us very detailed, I guess, paths to free people, slaves, or cause
And
problems.
didn't we just buy a bunch of maps? Not that one, huh?
We did
We-
indeed.
We bought a
Scary.
bunch of maps, but it's
Okay.
illegal to have like
The accurate
very detailed maps of the city.
Right.
It's like they're worried somebody might rob them.
I mean, somebody might rob them.
We're not.
I've been thinking about ways to rob them since we got here.
You know what? I'm not even going to stop you.
Yeah, no, that's fair. There's a certain rule of orderly conduct called the fuck 'em rule, and that comes into play in situations like this.
Yeah,
Just
definitely.
got to be clever about it. Got to not get yourself murdered by slavers or enslaved by slavers. That is another option on the table that is best avoided.
Well, Kaido's still sleeping, so I don't think that's on the table for us right now.
Hmm.
So, what would you all like to do?
So you were thinking we need to win the favor of these noble houses so that we can learn what from them?
We're trying to get the info on the location of the Shaper. That's our ultimate goal.
It is, yes. How is this getting us there?
They have info that they're not venturing. They've also got connections, such not.
Okay. We should maybe like pick one noble house and try to infiltrate it.
Yep.
I'm totally memeing here. Is there a House of Dell?
Gesundheit.
Gesundheit.
Bless you.
Thanks.
Like a cannonball.
These oak trees gonna be like,
There, you know of House Zell, which is the only one you currently know about.
cool, let's schmooze our way in there.
Seems like
Gesundheit.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Okay.
Put out feelers looking for houses. House or houses.
Okay. How would you like to go about doing that?
Well, presumably they've got places where, especially with all the young blades looking to get into a house, they've got ways and means of doing that, so we can try to look for where they look for work.
Okay. If you're looking for anything like that, go ahead and make an investigation roll.
I will make an investigation.
I would assist.
Thank you. I will roll with advantage.
Okay. Graham, you do find a couple of different things that you think might be able to help. Leaving the hotel, traveling through the streets, you do find a notice board that's been placed up in the square that just does list work. You've also noticed a number of different mercenary halls where you've seen different things like bugbears, uh, various orcs. You've noticed some of the Grey Dwarves all kind of congregating together, definitely heavily armored and armed. Um, you've passed by a number of different guard spots that do seem to have people there that can answer questions, in essence, for helping, facilitate any contact with the noble houses.
Can we kind of fly on the wall of that and just kind of see how business operates before we venture up directly?
How openly are you flying on the wall this?
Mm, I would say noticeable, but not obtrusive, like kind of sitting against the corner of the wall within earshot, but not hiding and not drawing attention to oneself, like clearly interested, but not too interested.
Okay. Sitting by one of
Still,
the guardhouse to see how everything operates. You do notice that there's a number of guards there, and they're primarily made up of, like, the guards you see are going to be mostly orcs, but you do see a number of hobgoblins as well as the occasional um, like dwarf. They all seem to be a mix of free, and some of them do have that like silver collar around their neck. You
All
do
right.
notice that primarily, as business goes on for about an hour, they occasionally will meet with somebody who will then go inside. Out comes a drow who will then talk to them. After about an hour, you notice them kind of looking in your direction, seeing you haven't really moved, and a few of
Well,
them start to
okay.
mosey on over to your location.
Graham will tip his hat at them and straighten up from leaning against a convenient wall as they approach.
Okay. You see a kind of the red-skinned hobgoblin man approach. He is wearing mail. He has at his side a like a wooden club banded with metal. Hey, what are you doing here?
Thinking,
Why don't you think somewhere else?
because it sounds like there might be work to be had here, and that's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, and there's work to be had at a mercenary hall, so beat it. Or I'll be beating you.
Now, let's see. Trying to think of what tack to take with this. Does this guy have any like heraldry on him, or does he?
No, not really. Just looks like wearing kind of just dark clothing with a kind of purple cape.
So, what? You a mercenary?
You disrespected me, boy.
Not yet, but if you'd like me to.
Yeah.
Graham will like sit up, kind of not puff out his chest, but just, are we doing this or are we doing this?
I heard Graham try to start a fight before.
He's gonna take out a whistle and just blows into it, and just a high pitched just sound comes from it, and a number of guards, probably a good eight or nine just pour out of this guardhouse and just kind of surround you there. Oh,
Even.
oh, you looking for a little fun? Well, we could all take our turns with you, huh?
Oh, I just thought that a guard would be able to fight his own battles instead of hiding behind a whole bunch of drow.
Oh, these men aren't drow, with the exception of one drow in back.
Okay, disregard that comment then.
But
Oh, so
no,
you don't take care of your own dirty work, huh?
he is gonna take a swipe at you.
Okay.
Um, swiping at you, the club strikes your chest, hitting your armor. It does not have enough force in order to get through it, so you
Graham
are
is just
not
gonna
hurt in any
look.
way.
How tall is this guy?
As a hobgoblin, he's pretty tall. He's good 6 feet and change.
Okay. Graham is gonna step in a little closer to him and just keep eye contact. Like, do you want to try that again, or are we gonna have a discussion?
You hear a voice from the back. What's all this about? And you see
Looking
the
for work.
voices come from a drow man.
Graham will turn to the guy. Looking for work. This guy's looking for trouble. What do you say? Do you want to be my reference, or should we keep things civil?
No one's looking for trouble here. We are guards to ensure the safety of the city. I'd highly recommend not starting any trouble. If you wish to do any mercenary work, we can ensure that there's a spot for you. But if you're looking for perhaps something else, I'd be willing to facilitate that.
Well, you got my attention.
Alright, why don't you come inside? I don't prefer doing this out here.
I'm gonna insight that, but otherwise this might be our in.
Go ahead.
No.
Uh, yeah, Graham, I mean, he's basically wants you to pay him a bribe and doesn't want to do it openly.
Gotcha. Graham will walk on in, cool as you please.
Graham, you enter into this black stone building, thick walls, thin windows. It looks very sturdy, very hard to siege. The door shuts behind. It's a heavy wooden door with a number of metal bands across it, keeping it very secure. A number of locks are shut. You find yourself probably surrounded by a good 20 guards. The majority of them are looking at you. This drow man offers you a seat at a table.
Graham will take it with a nod of appreciation.
So, you have a fee for me for doing this favor for you?
I reckon I've got something to facilitate happy business relations. I will take out 10 gold, slide it across the table.
All well and good, but I do need to split this among my various associates here. They all expect a little bit of extra as well, keep their families fed.
You gonna bribe
How many
everybody?
associates are we talking?
20.
Graham will slide another 10 over.
Thank you. So, what is it you want exactly?
Well, for starters, a return on investment on our happy business relationship. So I'm looking for work. And that hobgoblin feller seemed to take a little exception to that.
Well, we're guards for the city here. Our job is to ensure that the laws are followed. We're not here to strictly find work for people. I mean, if I could be honest with you, you could have just gone to any of the mercenary halls and gotten work there for free.
Sure, but mercenary work doesn't quite pay as much as a government contract, if you follow me.
That's true.
And I know fellers like you are always looking for an extra set of capable hands.
And what is your, I suppose, goal here exactly?
Well, aside from fame, fortune, and glory, I'm looking for a little information that is a little hard to come by. So I figured I'd make some friends in high places by taking care of things that maybe would be best left to a deniable group of strangers from outside the city instead of a local.
We do have a few things we need sorted. I'm looking for a very specific person in this city. I. Unfortunately, my guards are known, and I need somebody who's a stranger to find them.
Well, I might just be your man. What are we talking about here?
Though among the slaves there's always a bit of discontent. They simply won't accept their lot in life. And it seems they have elected a leader among them to attempt to free them all. Find this person, deal with them, and I can get you into the inner city if that's what you're interested in.
It might be. It might be.
Well, you have the
Let me
job.
know what you know, and I'll see what I can see.
Just a few grumblings from a few slaves we've taken in for interrogation. Nobody knows a name or really anything about this, at least none they're willing to tell us about, even under our more thorough investigation and interrogation of them. So, I recommend you start maybe in the slave quarters. Obviously, this person they're after is quite scary, considering people working for him aren't willing to tattle on him. So, just be prepared, I suppose.
I think I could see my way to that.
Good. Anyway, I need them dead. So, bring me the head, and I will have a pass to the inner city waiting for you.
All right. You got any info to start me off, or should I just go a wander and knock some until I find the right one?
Well, my typical result would be to simply walk into the slave quarter, grab a few slaves, and just start seeing what they know, but hasn't strictly yielded any results yet, so you may want to play it a little more subtle. As for where they could be, I would say try and find out if there's any slave meetings. We've been trying to infiltrate one of them, but unfortunately, my men are just a bit on the unsubtle side. And as fun as it is to kill a few, that they are city property for the most part. So, don't get arrested for vandalism, is what I'm saying in that regard.
Makes sense to me. All right.
Well,
I'll come on back here when I've got something to share.
very good.
Thank you. Graham will get up and excuse himself.
All the guards are just eyes watching you leave.
Graham just, if he makes eye contact with anybody, he just tips his hat at them and just keeps on going, like completely unfluffed.
One of the guards opens the door.
Well, thank you.
As you exit, the door slams shut, and you can just hear the locks all latch.
Graham will return to the group. Okay, might have a lead for us. Let's start moseying and I'll explain. And Graham will fill them in on the meeting.
All right. As you are meet with the group, making your way.
Downtown.
Actually, where are you all right now?
Guys, we have to walk fast. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Do you hear that? Da-da-da-da-da-da. It's getting closer.
No, I'm just trying to figure out where in the city you are currently. If you're still at the hotel or.
I don't know. Where would we have to walk towards?
You know a little bit of the city, so wherever you want. You could also attempt to find a location within the city itself.
I assume as he's telling us the plan or what he knows, we're probably making our way to the slave quarters.
Okay. as you are making your way through the streets to the slave quarters, as Graham is elaborating on what he's learned, you see a group of young drow kind of just marching through the streets. You don't really see anything strictly out of the ordinary with them, although they have been yelling insults, what you assume to be insults to people. You can't really make out their language without Kaido there, who is neglected to join you. Any attempts to awaken him have been met with just loud snores.
I think that boy should get himself checked out. He seems to have narcolepsy too. Anyway.
The drow walk up to you, your group, and begin to. You can't make out what they're saying, but it's incredibly harsh, like a harsh language. A lot of shouting, yelling at you. The
How
group
many of them
has
are there?
stopped completely.
How many of them are there?
You believe there are four.
Hmm.
Do we want to do we want to get instigated into a fight for possible future purposes, or do we want to try to lay low?
The drow are continuing to yell at you. One of them pulls out his second sword.
That implies that we should lay low.
Yeah.
I mean, they're young blades, right? They don't have the mark of a house.
You don't see any house marking on them. More of them are beginning to take out both blades and are continuing to shout at you, trying to elicit a response.
Well, what do I want to do? All right, this probably won't work, but I'm gonna try an intimidation check. I'm just gonna like make eye contact with the leader of the bunch or whoever started the yelling and is closest to Graham.
Okay.
I'm literally just gonna be giving him like the stare down.
The leader of the bunch looks at you, just kind of up and down. Gives like a kind of short laugh. And does like a little sign, and the rest of the group just stow their knives and begin walking down the street again.
Lovely company in this place. All right, let's keep moseying. I guess head toward. We can either meet back up at the inn, or we can go back to the slave quarter and start looking around.
Yeah, I would say slave quarter at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were headed that way anyway.
Okay. Give me a survival check, please.
I can do that.
Please do. I'm not a wizard at that. Nice.
Yeah. Fern, the streets are twisting, winding. You remember that they tend to meander around. They often just end in these like short guard buildings, much like what Graham had entered into. But you are able to find your way through the streets and are able to pass through a gate that is just at a kind of short walls that surround the outer city. And you find yourself at the edge of just the field of wooden shacks that kind of just stretch far, far across until it eventually just probably a good few thousand feet, if not more. You're not even able to get a good idea of it as it exits out through like dark vision and even the lighting of the city itself. So, but you're at least at the slave quarter.
It is a start. So, for reference, we're absolutely not bringing in anybody who's trying to turn this shit around. But maybe we can find them, make contact, and see if we can find a willing patsy, or make a willing patsy out of a not so friendly soul.
I assume that was the whole point. You're not gonna,
Yeah.
you're not
Yeah.
gonna bring this guy. You don't have to like explain
Kaido
that.
comes in next session just like, hey guys, I found him. That do good?
Yeah, have his head. Why?
All right. But yep, you're all at the very edge. You see the occasional slave with the iron collar and there's just a tattered clothing, kind of making their way through the thin alleyways and roads they have made. Um, See, a number of them have gathered up by streams and small ponds, throwing nets in to try and catch. Well, what you realize are these kind of small, little, kind of pale, blind fish.
Hmm. I say we continue kind of people watching and just kind of see if we notice any interesting interactions.
Okay.
Especially because we don't really have the benefit of language right now.
All right. Go ahead. Give me a perception check to people watch.
What kind of language are these guys mostly using?
Um, from
I know
from what they've been
common.
talking and like from what you heard Kaido speak, you would suspect it'd be undercommon. Right. Graham, as you take a look over these slaves, watching them, you see a number of them hauling in these kind of like. You see a number of them like hauling in this kind of short, like
Oh,
you suspect
shit.
it to be
What
some
an
sort
ant.
of like a plant, like a root or like a underground wheat, hauling it in big bundles on their backs. You see a number of them pulling in basically these huge baskets of like wriggling worms. None of them bringing in what looks to be these like thin sheets of wood.
Oh.
You see them cooking. You see a few of them attempting to like do repairs. See a bunch of them getting hassled by guards. But as you watch for about an hour, that's you just see basically a lot of work being done. Occasionally, yeah, you do see a slave who will uh, suffer a whip strike to the back, either from a angry or possibly bored guard.
Well, if we want to try making friends, we could see if we could covertly fuck with the overseers.
Playing for that then.
Yeah, look for trouble.
Okay, you want to look for trouble? As in try and find it, or
I don't know. I'm sure we can find trouble in a drow slave city, but
What kind of trouble would you like?
well, ideally trouble that will get us in touch with the whatever passes for a resistance structure and leadership among the slave class. Which,
So,
to
someone
my
can
to
strike
my
up a
eyes,
conversation
that's
with a slave and be like, "Hey, sucks you guys are slaves, man." Piffle offers to do that.
yeah, that does seem like kind of your specialty.
So Piffle will kind of sidle up to a random slave doing some random slave stuff.
So I can't help but notice you're indentured. How's that going for you?
That's
Okay.
basically where I'm going with this.
I will be right back.
okay.
Biff will take the wheel.
Fiffle, you sidle up to a older human woman, hair has gone gray. She is wearing a kind of plain tunic and sandals, a iron collar around her neck. She's currently in the middle of washing some clothing.
Why, hello there. I couldn't help but see that you're enslaved.
Zava?
Yeah,
Zava Havana?
exactly. That looks tough. Um, I don't understand the language she's speaking.
What languages does Fiffle speak?
Common, halfling, common.
Fiffle is a little stumped.
Okay. Pivel tries somebody else.
Who would you like to try? There you see a number of slaves around.
The guy baling hay into that bale of hay over there.
Okay. You see a orc man, kind of just. He has basically wearing like a pair of pants. He has stripped off his shirt, a collar around the throat still. He's just a wooden pitchfork that he's kind of using to just get this like thick red root, you believe, into a wagon. Yeah, yeah,
Hey there. You speak common?
common.
Common, yeah. The
Zaf
language with the people they talk with it. No.
Zavnaf. See a looks like a halfling, much like you, Fiffle. Walk over.
Oh.
You could tell this man is also a slave from the collar around his throat. Hey there, friend. We don't not a lot of common speakers down here.
I noticed that. That's
Where
uncommon.
Where about you from?
Oh, over the hill and far away.
Yeah, from the surface. I'm from Elsie.
They say I'm from the surface.
I mean, you speak in from the surface.
Yeah, all right, fine. I'm from the surface. What's it to you,
Can you get me back up there?
baby?
Is that a yes?
No, it's maybe.
I mean, what are you doing here? Look, man, I got a family in Elsie.
So
That's- That's where I'm from, man.
here on business, but more importantly, I hate slavery.
Shh, keep your voice down. Are you crazy?
What?
Shh,
Oh, I
shh,
mean,
shh, shh.
yeah. So I really hate slavery.
Okay, well that's all well and good. So do I. I didn't really think about it up until I got grabbed on my on a little trip there, huh? So
Yeah, these guys seem to grab up a lot of people,
yeah, I've
all kinds
noticed.
of different people. But you know, seems like slaves could rise up and murder these guys. There's so many of you.
Yeah, slight problem. We don't have any weapons and armor or anything like that, and they do, and a lot of it, and they've
There's
really
so
thought
many
about
of
it.
you, though. You could use pointed sticks.
Yeah, that's the problem. Hey, question though, and a bunch of people have thought about it. You got to actually assault the city. There's a wall around it that you got to siege first,
Oh,
and then what happens when they bring in the army? And I gotta tell you, those army guys, I don't know, I haven't seen any of them, but apparently they're the pretty real deal there.
I guess you're going to need a lot of pointed sticks. Look, hypothetically, if there was somebody who could help facilitate, such matters, who's the smartest of the enslaved around here? Who would be the one to really make the plan?
Phil, make a persuasion check.
Beat around the bush here, but I guess we'll just ask. Where's the damn button?
Yeah, no, it's kind of.
somewhere in there.
I mean, there's a few guys who are real smart,
Yeah.
like me. I'm pretty smart,
You seem very smart.
Uh-oh.
I
and
just like to return to oh.
So if you were going to lay siege to the city with an army of slaves, how would you go about it?
I wouldn't,
Oh,
cause that's suicide.
oh. All right. Who around here is a little bit less smart than you?
I could certainly tell you. I mean, did you know that I could get purchased for like 30 gold, and then I'd certainly be very willing to help.
We have to purchase you?
Or you could.
That's slavery.
Yeah, I hate
Hey,
slavery.
what you do after the fact, just saying that you don't like slavery, that just, I have an idea of what could go happen with that. But look, they got me digging in the dirt, grabbing these grubs, and I gotta tell you, those things bite, and if they get in your skin, they're a real bastard to get out.
Hey.
So, do you know what I did before I came down here? I was a carpenter,
Uh-huh.
but they don't need carpenters right now. They need grub grabbers.
Well, here's what I can do. I can talk to my compatriots and see if any of them is willing to spend the money to purchase you.
Cool, that's great.
Okay. So Graham, this guy has information, but he wants us to buy him.
All
Can we buy a
right.
slave, Graham?
You buy a slave.
I should mention you can free me afterwards, and then it's ethical.
Hush, hush, hush. Can we buy a slave, Graham?
I guess.
Yeah, we can buy a slave, Biffle.
All right, are we splitting this or no? You know what? I will buy this guy so I can free him with 100% certainty.
I mean, I would have freed him. I don't care. I'm actually with you.
I respect your moral clarity, Graham.
Yeah, well, one tries.
Okay.
I like how Graham doesn't trust Otto at him.
It's more like taking the temperature of the whole group if we parted out the costs.
I'll give 10 gold to.
I feel like even if the group would ultimately free a slave, a couple people would be like, well, I have a fence I need painted. Also, Graham is just getting a real haircut on his pocket money doing things.
I like that.
Graham,
I'll chip in.
I'll give like 10. We can split it.
that would be nice. 10 each?
Yeah.
Cool.
That was a very subdued 100 gold each.
Each?
Oh, cool. All right. Now, you have to go to the slave halls and purchase me there. Kind of like fiddles with the collar and kind of twists around. This number here on the collar here. This is my number.
What
Does
is-
it
what
use
is the
the same
number?
numeral system we do because we don't speak that language?
No.
Fifth
Like,
write
you
it
see-
down.
You see
Yeah,
a number of like
write it down.
scratches on it, but okay. I haven't been able to see it because it's on my neck, and this thing's been on me for the last 8 months. But yeah, just go bring that to one of the halls and go buy me, and then they'll free me. Or,
Will it,
or technically, they'll put me into your possession. But the point of the story is, you can then free me after.
Will it raise any suspicion if we specify this guy in particular?
I mean, they typically don't do that. Say you're looking for a. You might just say you're looking for a grub grabber who can also do some carpentry. I can make you a real nice chair. Lord knows I've been working on this damn wood.
Mm.
He just like kind of kicks a little scrap of the wood that uses to make the shacks around the
The
city.
magic balsa.
Particle board.
All right. We have a plan.
Isn't that scary?
So, what's your name, dude?
Fillin.
Villain?
Fillin.
Okay, nice to meet you. I'm
Nice,
Fern.
nice to meet you, Fern. Oh, this is gonna be great. I haven't seen my family in 8 months. Last they knew, I was going out in the. I was just gonna go visit Kirag, and boom, disappeared. Probably thought I
Hmm.
got eaten by wolves or something.
They happen to grab a bunch of other surface guys with you?
A ton. The
Hmm.
whole caravan got snatched. It was night. The guards were guarding, and then poof, bunch of arrows rained on to them, killing them, and then just anybody who could scattered, but a bunch of us got grabbed, thrown in cages, put in chains, and then before we knew it, we were underground.
All
I was
right.
actually in a different city even before this, and then I got. Well, I don't really know what happened. I think maybe there was a battle, or maybe it was even a sale, but I was at one city. I got traded a few months back to this city. Hey, what's
There's
going on to the surface anyway? Anything interesting? It's winter, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hate to tell you this, but there might be a civil war brewing.
Oh. Okay.
Count's house
Well, you
blew
know
up
what?
in
Better
Drindir.
than still better than this.
The Count's house blew up in Drindir.
Oh, I've never been to Drindia. That's a heck of far south. But and I gotta tell you, I'm just looking forward to getting back to Elsie. I'm gonna see my wife and kids again. I'm definitely looking forward to sitting in one of those hot springs I got there because holy hell, is it cold down here? And I'm gonna and there ain't a lot to eat either. You know what you eat? You eat the grubs that go in your skin.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it ain't great. It sucks, actually. All right. Well,
I don't want skin grubs. Let's get out of here.
So just remember, you wrote it down. So just go and tell them if you want to, get me, and then I'll help you however I can.
all right. Let's buy a slave.
All right. He pointed you in a specific direction, near the edge of the city. I'm assuming you're heading that way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, Heading in that direction, you do see a number of people who are. Not only do they have the collars around their throat, they also have chains around their arms and legs. They're in long rows. You can see probably at least a good 100, maybe 200. Um, a number of guards surround them with spears and whips, yelling at them, directing them. A number of drow you see exchanging gold as a drow man sits at a table and is just kind of writing in a book. You see in what looks to be drow that actually do apparently have a marking of some measure on their armor and their cape as gold exchange hands. The man at the table. Hefnast. Haftust.
Says Piffle.
Agreed.
Hefnast Haftust.
Uh, Try rotating through the languages we know.
He begins. Which languages do you guys speak?
Sure, I still haven't done that.
I've got Goblin, Elvish, not Dwarvish. I
As
think I
you
got Elven.
cycle to Elvish Fern, he eyes light up and you says in a language the Elvish language you speak. How may I assist you? Do you have any purchases or sell? We have a
Yes,
lot
we would
here.
like to make a purchase.
Ah, of course. How many can I get you down for? You look like the kind of person who runs a nice farm outside the city. Can I put you down for a good 2-3 dozen slaves?
I just need one specifically for a certain task at the moment. Um,
Interesting.
and I did see someone working that I was interested in if I could
Of course,
request this
aimed.
specific person.
We aim to please. Who is. What's their lot number?
Can I get the paper from Fiffle and show it to him?
Yes.
He takes the paper. Huh. He opens up a chest. Inside are a number of books. He looks through the books, pulls out one, flips through a bunch of pages. Looks to be a number of these like different kind of like glyphs you've written down. Very similar to it. He just flips through 100, 200 pages before he winds up somewhere in the middle. Of course. I'm dreadfully sorry. This one has been purchased already. He'll be shipped off to a client who's been rather generous with our slaves. May I interest you in another one, perhaps?
Um, Let me think about it and I'll get back to you.
Very good.
If you're translating back and forth, we could probably ask about the generous client.
Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and do that, I guess.
I think you and I have the same idea what a generous client is.
Client, unfortunately, wishes to remain anonymous. But rest assured, this has already been approved by all the noble houses of the city, so this is well within acceptable range. I can certainly find you another, if you so desire. We have so many of them. I'm sure we can find one. The specific skill set you need. You're not eating it, are you?
Of course not.
Oh, well. If you were, I could offer a few. I had. But. Anyway.
You know what they say, feed a man a slave.
Here, I have a number that have just come in and have only just been processed. We could. Brand new to the city, I'm sure they'd be quite willing to help you. For the right price, of course. This one here, he points to a probably like mid-20s woman standing next to a, you suspect age maybe like 6, 7 year old child kind of crying. That one just came in. We'll remove the little one and you may take her with you for your purposes. I'm not sure precisely what you require. And then the child will of course be sent to the mines.
Wow. Let me talk
Yes?
to my friends here
Oh,
for
no, I
a
was gonna say
moment.
I was muted.
What are we doing, guys?
How much for her and the child?
I'll ask him that.
Oh, well, of course, with a child, smaller hands, they can get in the smaller places. Their hands are perfect for reaching into the gears of machinery. I would say for mother and child, 50 gold. I mean, they're brand new, of course. They have yet to even feel the lash. They would be perfect for hard physical labor.
You do have to house and feed the little one.
Fern translates that back. Fern, make a persuasion check.
Bizarro, I'm helping.
Well, the little one also will grow, and then its usefulness goes down.
No, I'm dreadfully sorry. Yes, of course, you have to feed and house them, but you have to do that for every one of them. And she's in prime breeding condition. She'll make more.
Jesus.
So if anything, you're only getting I would say you're getting a deal on this.
Everybody's gonna need to take a shower after this session.
Why are we buying these people? These aren't the people we're supposed to buy.
No, that
can't,
guy's
the other guy got theory crafting here. The other guy got this is out of character, obviously. The other guy got bought up by the guy we're after.
we think.
We think that's the theory.
Somebody willing to pay a lot of money and it got approved by all the noble houses.
And yes, this city is the brutality of slavery. I am not endorsing this in any way, shape, or form. I want these people to be creepy.
I can't believe Ian supports slavery.
Oh my
Wait till
God.
Twitter hears about this.
Don't worry, Elon Musk and his emerald mine's gonna be.
Yeah, I was about to say, what do you mean they gave him a
Yeah.
verified account?
Blue check mark.
You get a blue check mark.
The blue whip mark.
When you leave, he'll try to blackmail you into paying 50 grand a year.
We could. This doesn't help in the immediate, but we could figure out from her where they got her from if she's new, which means we can get an insight on where they're pulling slaves from on the surface.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things they're trying to keep under their chest on the down low, and then we could use that to figure out stuff they're doing, and then we could bring that to the authorities up top side, maybe.
She could possibly find the leader of the resistance undercover for us, possibly. I don't know.
That is true. Like, we have an innocent kid who. Yeah, why don't we try that? Like,
I'll buy both of them if no matter what you guys want.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
50. It's
we buy
50
them.
for both.
We go back to the slave quarter. We tell them what's going on and that we need their help. And if they can get in touch with the whatever passes for leadership and let them know we need to talk to them about stuff.
Look, I'll buy the slave. I'm a slave owner now.
Congrats. You
Thank
get a
you.
little achievement pop up. You horrible person.
You hand the drow man 50 gold. Excellent. I'm glad we could do business. They'll serve you well. What, if I may pry, are you interested in doing? I could perhaps offer additional slaves if you're interested. I mean, you seem like a industrious man yourself. You probably have them working in some business, churning out a little extra money. They practically pay for themselves.
I'll give him the universal hand thing that he hit it on the spot.
Yes. Of course. Well,
I'll
please.
tell Fern to translate for him. We'll do business again soon.
Excellent. Vanath, he motions to one of the guards, who snaps a whip and kind of roughly pushes the woman and her son. You just can hear her, in common actually, muttering a prayer. Tyrell, protect us in this time. You kind of hear the prayer to Tyrell, the god of justice and order.
That's kind of funny when we walk outside. I assume we just left, right?
I would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
We need to summon like the D&D fusion equivalent of Bernie Sanders and Gritty.
Britty.
The Grittus.
Yes. You could hear her continuing to just under her breath recite a prayer to Tyrell.
assuming nobody understands common is we'll just lead them away and just it's fine.
Yeah, we'll be like, hey, how's it going?
All right.
I like how the bunny goes, hey, how's it going?
Graham will quietly tell them all right, don't worry.
What's going on?
We're gonna get you to safety, but there's a lot going on in the city, and we can't just topple the whole thing.
The woman's eyes kind of light up a bit, hopeful. You're freeing me? You're freeing me and my son?
We're not gonna use you as slaves, that's for damn sure, but right now we can't guarantee your safety if we did, because we're in the Underdark, and
you
for all we know, you jump town as a free person, they knock you over the head, and they drag you right back in and sell you all over again.
you're gonna have to play the part. You're gonna have to play the part for now. But you're not a slave.
Give me a persuasion check.
Can I do it at advantage since Graham was also helping?
Yeah, and she speaks common, so you're not translating through somebody.
Okay.
Giving winning smiles. We're strangers in an Underdark city, armed to the teeth.
If it helps, I'll give her a ration too for the kid.
She breaks off a small. She takes the ration, breaks off a small part of it, gives the majority to her son, and just kind of eats the rest of it. It's the bit of hardtack, but well, what's going to happen with me and my son then? We'd like to get back to the surface. We've been down here a full week now.
Where are you from? Where'd they grab you?
We're from a small village. It's we I suppose we report to the Count of Sosanis.
Okay.
But we're in between Sinsalis and Talva.
All right. It's useful info because
Yeah.
we know they're taking people from topside, but they're keeping mum as to where.
Oh no, we were on a small. I don't even know what you'd call it. Soldiers came, and so we had to flee the village. And when we were out in the wilderness, it was nighttime, and just remember like a hard hand grabbing me and putting chains on my wrist. I don't know where the rest of my family is. If they escaped or if they're down here still.
Ideally, we'll be able to free everyone here, but that's not something that can happen without a lot of things going right first.
What do you need from me?
We know there's something resembling leadership among the slaves here, organizing them, and the enforcers don't take too kindly to that. We need to find them and arrange a meeting with them and try to figure out what they know and what we can work together on.
Do you want me to meet with them? I could try, I suppose.
I think having a kid might give them a sympathetic eye to look out toward you.
I mean, I'd be perfectly happy, but she looks down at her son. I can't part with him now. Where will we stay?
Do we have?
We've got lodgings while we're down here, or we can see if we can find somebody in the slave quarter. Either way, that's where we got to head next.
This guy's probably already gone, to be honest. Let's be real.
Yeah, we should also probably give that poor bastard the bad news that he's already been sold.
Yeah.
The woman with her son, she very clings to the kid very tightly.
You know, listen, we're not going to pull the two of you apart. You've been through enough. But right now, we don't have any way to help you with the hand you've been dealt. That's what we're working on right now. But we're going to need your help, and you're going to need to be quiet about it. You understand me?
I'll do my best.
That's all we can ask.
Well, where to now?
Maybe we go to the slave quarter and maybe set them walkabouts and have Fiffle tail them to see if anybody kind of takes an interest in them, follows them, etc.
What am I tailing?
We bought the mother and child slave. We're explaining the basics of what's going on, and also that we're not going to enslave them.
I'm a slave owner now.
My thought was we go to the slave quarter because we're trying to find the leadership of the slaves, You tail them while they walk through, and you see if anybody notices a woman with her child and chooses to chime in on them.
Following the woman and child that we bought as they walk around.
Yeah, within the slave quarter. And if any of the guards hassle you, just let them know you're acting on business for your masters.
Oh, okay.
Sure, okay. I'll just to see if they talk to anybody.
Yeah, hopefully a mother with her son, like a young kid, is gonna draw some sympathy from whatever leadership they have in there, or at least draw eyes to them.
Okay.
All right, so you
You'll be
return.
keeping an eye on them to see who sees and keep them safe if somebody tries anything shady.
Yep. Piffle puts on his best nondescript
He puts
face.
his sneaking outfit on.
He puts his Groucho Marx glasses on.
Okay, you return to the slave quarter. The woman and her son, they just kind of look out over this vast sea of wooden shacks.
Yeah, Piffle just kind of, leans back into the shadows.
Mm.
Okay.
While they're doing that,
I'll
we
do
can
it. I'll do a
probably.
stealth roll to
Yep.
stealthily follow them and not be seen, noticed.
Fiffle, believe you're quite stealthy in that regard.
And while we're in this area waiting on that, we can look into lodging for them, and if we don't want to, or if we can't have them in the inn that we're staying in.
You probably can, and I think once they're done with their slave thing, probably get them into like normal dress.
Once they finish their slave orientation.
Yeah, this way it's less likely that they get eyes on them that way, and they feel like they're more part of like the entourage.
They're dressed in like what you'd expect to see from a villager. Just very dirty, muddy, and covered in dirt. Torn
Been
in
force
places.
marched around a bit.
Yep. Really, the thing that marks them as a slave that you can see is just the iron collars that kind of like band their neck.
Okay.
Okay.
Were we given the ability to remove that though now?
Yep. Yeah, you were given little keys for them.
Okay.
The question is, I mean, obviously it would be the nice thing to do, but do we want to do that yet?
Not yet. Maybe after we've gotten more info, then we can just do that.
Sounds like a plan to me.
All right. Fiffle, you begin to follow them through the slave quarter as they just begin looking around. Number of slaves in the area see them enter. A few people call out to them, but it looks to be primarily an undercommon. Nobody really seems to notice you as you kind of just stick to the shadows. It's very easy. That's at best there's dim light around. For the rest of the group, you see the halfling man you spoke to earlier come up. All right. So, deal's done, eh? Hey, I think there's a key. Just put it in here and let's go.
So, bad news, dude.
See, I don't like the way you said that.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
We paid an exquisite amount of money for you.
What?
Yeah, someone had already bought you.
Well,
They wouldn't
who?
have entertained us, Father.
They wouldn't say, but they paid well, and the entire nobility structure down here approved it.
Where am I going? When am I going to see my family again?
Australia.
No! I don't know, man. I'm sorry, but we're not going to forget you, and we're not going to leave you.
He just kind of goes.
We're setting up to follow you.
He just goes completely silent and just collapses.
No.
Oh well.
Slaves are so melodramatic. God. It's like we gave him hope and then immediately dashed it.
Kinda.
Look, halfling guy, it wasn't us. It was the DM.
There's this
I kind
there's
of
this
got
god of cruelty called Eon.
Please, please.
I
Cruelty is so
gotta
much more
get going.
interesting. I prefer the
I
term
gotta get going,
torment.
fellas.
In some
So,
languages, it's called land.
somebody puppet piffle, if
Okay.
you would. That's alliterative.
Oh yeah.
And
Puppet Piffle, please.
and I'll catch you next time.
Okay.
Take
Well,
care.
should be
Later.
able to play Sunday next week, so.
Very good.
Hopefully.
Bye bye.
See you.
Alright. Well, Fiffle would see eventually that the woman and son would be approached by a number of different slaves, and can overhear that they are speaking common,
Okay.
and just says, "Oh, you're new here. Here, come with us. We have a place you can stay that'll keep you safe. What do they have you doing here? Do you work?" And just like she begins to step away, the conversation becomes harder and harder to hear.
I would
I
probably
think
have
Fiffle would.
tail him.
I mean, I have Fiffle's character sheet, so I guess he would just keep tailing them and
Okay.
try to eavesdrop. But he's going in that role. It's pretty good.
He's in follow mode.
Yep. Eventually, the woman, the other slaves bring the woman and child to a overseer, and he barks in. It's common. You can tell it's common. It's just got a heavier accent. He's like, good. All right, you're on. Kids going to the mine, and you're gonna be on cleaning duty. There we are. He just snaps his fingers, and a number of overseers come and just forcefully separate the woman and child. He's like, all right, drag him to the mine. As for her.
Wait, so we own so if we own them and by proxy Fiffle does, can't he just say those are mine, don't touch them?
Try.
Okay, so Fiffle, we like do his. I can't do his Fiffle voice. Like, hey, those are my slaves. Don't touch them.
You're on to the
Pay
slave.
50 gold for them.
Woody, I'm terribly sorry, sir. I didn't realize they were non-state property. I just assumed you'd be taking 'em home with you. Did they get loose from you? We could certainly return them on your behalf.
Yeah, just give them to me. We split up. We split up to look for them.
Oh, of course, sir. Wouldn't want you to lose your property. Do be careful, they have a tendency to wander away when you ain't looking.
So the people who brought them, like, did they deliberately bring them to this overseer, or did they get like waylaid by them?
They were waylaid by the overseer.
Okay.
Okay. I guess we could. So we
Maybe
know
have
where.
Look for the people who were guiding them and just kind of go in the same direction they are.
All right, you two, back to your master. And he just snaps the whip. Go on, ya!
I don't think this is gonna work, bros.
The woman and child return to Fiffle.
All right, let's reconvene here. Let's reconvene with the group again.
Okay. Fiffle grabs or takes the woman and child with him and returns to the group.
Wow.
Sorry, guys. They turns out the overseers here wanted them to work.
Damn it. Is anybody the way they came, like, watching them?
You see a number of slaves watching you. The overseers themselves have seemed to just turned and gone back to their own business. um, returning to these one of these stone towers that kind of just dot this area. Um, you see a number of archers unflex their bowstrings.
I don't think this would work. Let's see.
We don't really have any dedicated like information gathering types, do we?
No.
Well,
So we
primarily
can,
Fiffle.
so we can go to the investigator. In this case, this might be the best bet because I don't think slaves are going to talk like at all.
Hmm.
That's option one. Option two would be we don't find this slave leadership and we tail the guy that got bought from us and see where he's brought.
We could have Biffle try another sneaking mission on that front while we try to fact find more in the slave quarter.
I don't think the slave quarter is going to get us like much. And I don't think us losing the slaves twice is going to work again.
Hmm.
We might need to use the investigator, honestly.
Could we write a letter in Undercommon or Goblin or something that says like these slaves are bought and sold, don't press them into city labor?
Mm, I don't know if that would work. I really don't know if that would work in a place like this.
So these living quarters are only for slaves that belong to the city?
To the state, yeah.
Okay.
It's basically Florida.
No, no, please. It's less horrible than that.
Yeah, you're.
Okay, because I thought that she would be able to stay there and
No, I don't think she's.
I don't know. Okay, gotcha.
Uh,
Hmm.
here. I'm seriously stumped. I don't know if FIFA wants to tail our failed purchase while we go talk to the investigator about finding a lead on this slave leader.
We might also want to do a quick check and do a crazy Ivan to see if we're being followed.
Yeah, that is definitely true because
So
I wouldn't doubt it at this point.
why don't we start going through the quarter with the mom and child?
Mm-hmm.
See if anybody is following us and either if they're a slave or if they might be like a dickhead.
Okay.
I think that's the scientific term.
Okay. Gonna travel
Slave
through with the mom and child. Go ahead and make a perception check as you're keeping your head on a swivel to see what you see.
I'll make a perception check too.
I will also make a
Do
perception check. I got a 4. Nice.
Oh, I did not do a good perception.
Graham, Fern, you don't really see terribly much, unfortunately. Fern, you're short. The
You don't have
buildings
to
kind of
say it.
block your way. Graham, you're really just having a hard time. Like a really just this vast sea of like shacks, hard to see. Otto, you do notice a number of the. You see these towers around. You notice a number of archers in there with crossbows and bows, looking down, looking at apparently mercenaries walking through the slave quarter. Seem to be at the ready. Number of slaves occasionally glance over you and suspicion, you think, maybe just curiosity, before quickly returning to their labor. The overseers, who kind of are marching through the area, don't really see to pay you terribly much mind. so long as you're not causing trouble.
Wrong.
Some of the older slaves who are kind of just at a cooking pot do seem to be really staring at you somewhat
Um,
more intently.
if Otto points those out, I've got a possible idea.
Yeah, I would point that out.
Okay.
Graham will kind of swagger over to them with the same devil may care attitude that he had with the young blades, and he'll go, "Hey, you, where do I find lodging for this?" And like hook a thumb over his shoulder at the woman and child, and then he'll kind of drop his voice and mutter, "Listen, we're friends. Need some information."
Graham, make a persuasion check.
Time to roll a 2.
100.
I was better than 2.
One of them stirring the pot. You're an odd fella. Cruel thing you did with that halfling there.
Wasn't my favorite.
They can stay here with me.
I'm gonna do an insight on him as well.
Okay, go ahead.
Nice.
Graham, this guy is definitely suspicious of you, but he seems to be sincere in his words that they can, in fact, stay at his place. You would put this man as probably an older half orc. His common is passable. Hair has definitely gone gray. He looks to have numerous whip marks and scars on him. And the collar, you notice, is not only tighter, but you can see that it has these kind of like little metal studs on the interior that seem to be kind of pressing into his neck. Different than some of the other collars you've seen, or the majority of them for that matter. But
Oh,
from
good.
what you can tell,
Somebody in these hovels speaks common, even if it sounds like you got a mouthful of rocks. Like really playing it up for the guys in the towers, and then just switching to a lower register to actually talk with the guy. Like, all right, what's your story? What's up with the collar with the studs? I'm trying to
Graham,
figure out a way to get people out of this outfit.
make another persuasion check, please.
Time to roll a 4.
Keen.
Getting better.
Getting better. You got to go up 5 at a time every time.
Roll a natural 25.
I am considered to be what one might say troublesome, so I was given a more severe collar, a reminder.
Gotcha. Well, good on you.
I mean, if you want to help, I recommend not purchasing, because that money's going to the slave halls that trickle down to the raiders, who then use it to go buy supplies to return to the surface to grab even more people.
Yeah, I'm with you, but listen, we're not talking onesies, twosies. We're looking at trying to find a way to shut this whole place down.
That one is going to be a little more tough. I'll tell you what. You did right, I suppose, trying to help them there. Come back tomorrow and maybe I can get you some help, okay?
All right, I'm gonna be back tomorrow, and if either of them are missing, you're gonna have that collar be the least of your problems. You understand me?
Hafla?
And Graham will crisply march away.
Hafla snafgesk. As he
I
continues
don't
stirring
speak
his pot.
German neither. I need money. Money.
He returns to his pot, stirring it. The woman and child remain there.
Okay. And when passing by, Graham will just tell him, like, keep your eyes open. Let us know if you hear anything.
We will.
Did we ever ask her what her name was?
Not yet.
Well, here's your chance, Fern.
You know, I was going to say this is a monumentous occasion, because I believe this is the very first Dave of the campaign.
It's only a Dave once we strap bombs to them, all right? Otherwise, it's just a sparkling indentured servant.
All right, I'm gonna ask her what her name is.
I'm Gwen. This is my
Hi.
son, Garen.
Win and Garen. Hi, I'm Fern.
Hi, Fern. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Hopefully we can
Meet again under better circumstances.
yeah.
Well, better than I was
Get you
expecting, honestly, so I guess I can't fault you there.
hopefully we can get you guys and everyone else out of here
Yeah.
alive.
Follow that old guy's lead.
Why
You
did
don't
you
get
have to
old in
put
a
that?
place like
Wow,
this
now they're gonna be panicked.
without knowing what
Oh,
you're
God,
about.
well, we'll see you guys tomorrow, I suppose. Cause are we leaving now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, do we wait out the day, or do we want to try to do some more fact finding?
I guess we could meet with that investigator. Is that what we were wanting to do next, or no?
I don't think they've got any info for us.
Okay.
I thought I asked about that. Maybe I didn't.
Um, when you spoke with her previously, she said that she would be able to help if you came to her.
Oh, right, the private investigator.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking of the NPC that Graham talked to in the watch station. Yeah, let's try that, I guess.
Okay. Well, you have a business card with the crudely drawn map on it. It's not, detailed enough to be considered illegal, so, but it does match with where you've been previously in the foreign quarter.
Let's super fighting cartography go.
Okay. Give me another
Survival.
survival roll, please.
Do we get advantage between the rough map and the not rough maps?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, advantage.
Yeah.
2 1s.
A 1-2.
Not great, but I mean something.
Need
Takes
to
you a
do a
little.
bard. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead, Matt. What did
I
you
was
say?
gonna say I need to do a bard who's just like a bard warlock charisma class who's just Bugs Bunny, and the inspiration is brick a brack a firecracker shish boom ba.
All right, Ferd, it takes you a little bit longer than you were hoping and kind of expecting, but you do eventually manage to make your way back through the foreign quarter to following this map, and you're at an area of just these kind of like 2-story stone buildings. The map itself shows that you have to head down an alley to the left. Written above the archway before the alley, it does say Dupla Detective Agency. In multiple different languages, but it does say it in Elvish, so you are able to read it.
Oh, I can read Elvish too.
Oh,
Read
there you
with
go.
the plot. This is the place.
We're here.
Hooray.
Thank you.
Okay, as you turn to the left, there is a door there.
So what
door
info
is
do we want to
locked.
get off of her?
Who is the Shaper?
We've got the Shaper. We've got the identity of the slave leader, but we may not want to do that. Maybe have her keep tabs on people keeping tabs on us.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good idea. Anyway, let's go see the wizard.
Okay, the door is locked.
Knock.
Knock on the door.
A little slit in the door opens up. You see a pair of eyes looking at you.
FBI, open up.
Hafla?
What?
Oh, sorry, I didn't. You speak common.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's your business?
Looking to hire the investigator.
Slit closes again. Just hear kind of like muffled talking in back. Then you hear the door unlatch and it opens up. Before you is a small, looks like a gnome. Bit taller for a gnome. A little taller than even Fiffle, but.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Hi.
My name is Corin. Hold on. What are you doing here? You want to talk to the investigator about what?
Couple things. Why don't we step in and do some business if you don't mind?
Give me a second, cause I gotta suss you out. Could be
Can we show off the business card?
takes a look at the business card. Oh, all right. Well, come on in then.
Thank you, thank you.
Inside, you see two desks to set up with some chairs. You actually see what looks to be two tieflings. They look very similar to one another. One's a man, one's a woman. They have the kind of pink skin, horns, and tail. They're dressed in leather armor. At their side, they both have rapiers. And sitting at the largest desk, feet up on the table, a cigarette in hand, you see the kind of pale skin woman who introduced herself to you. Hello there. Welcome to Dupla's Detective Agency. I see we've met before. Alright, introductions. Let's see here. No man there, that's Corin One Coat, and then the twins, who actually wrote their names down. This is Woe and Awful.
See. Well, we've
The man speaks up. You could just call me Aw, actually, if it's all the same to you.
fair enough.
That's fine. I'm sure you enjoy being called awful.
Yeah, our parents didn't really have, great love of us, so
Mm.
Well.
Now we're here.
Now you're here. Now we're here. So, got a little business that needs discretion and sharp eyes, which I'm sure you specialize in.
She takes her feet off the table, kind of sits up in the chair. Grab a seat.
Graham will grab a seat.
She reaches across. Sorry, we haven't been properly introduced. I'm Dupla.
You can call me Graham, I suppose. Graham will shake the hand.
She reaches in her desk, pulls out a pair of glasses and a bottle of what you believe to be whiskey of some, maybe. And she just pours out a kind of dark liquid into both of them. Slides one over to you.
Well, I'm already feeling better about this whole thing.
She knocks back the drink.
Graham will take a slug himself, having given up. Who was it? It was the tour guide who drained the flask on him.
It's a pretty good stuff. It's pretty strong. And in the bottom of the bottle, you see a small grub that looks to be preserved in the alcohol.
I've had worse.
Just don't eat it. All right. So, are we talking business here or what? I got my rates and then covering expenses, of course, but I can find out anything in the city for you, within reason, of course.
Now, how reasonable would information on the shaper be?
Try unreasonable.
That's about what I figured.
Nobody
Okay,
knows
how
anything
about how about tracking the buyer of a specific slave, and Graham will purloin from Fiffle the symbol that was on his collar.
Okay, got a lot number. Well, that's not too bad. I can probably find this out without too much trouble. You want to find who bought him?
Yeah, he had the approval of every noble house and paid quite a sum, I'm given to understand. This feller's a carpenter by trade, or he was.
She slides it back to you. Then don't bother, because all the noble houses agree only on large purchase orders. So you're thinking something in the area of 500, 1,000, or more. And there's only one person buying that many slaves in one go.
Oh yeah, and
Two guess. You got three guesses. First two don't count.
right.
And buddy, you don't got enough money for me to find that much out. So
All right. How about keeping tabs on people keeping tabs on us? Because we
that
stick
I
out.
can do. In fact, it's a bit of my specialty.
All right.
She pulls out her kind of silver cigar case, opens it up, takes out a cigarette. Actually, it was a cigarette case. She kicks one out, passes it over to you.
Graham takes it.
She takes out her little bottle and squeezes it, and a flame comes out. She lights her cigarette and passes it to you.
Graham will light his cigarette.
She takes a long drag. So, you want to make sure you ain't being followed? I can take care of that. I'm perfect at that. So, we're talking expenses. Now, this is pretty simple. Going rate is 10 gold a day, plus expenses. But I can make sure you ain't getting followed. Or if you ain't getting followed, I can make sure you know who's who. Or if you are getting followed and you know who's who, then I can just make sure they stop, right?
He might be able to take care of that, depending on who's following us. But
Well, surviving in the city without being good with a knife. So, just keep that in mind.
Wrong. Already had an altercation with an up-jumped guard. Kind of
Yeah,
use that
that's about right.
street tough act and get in, make some bribes to the local watch captain or whomever.
Oh, no, I can tell right now, you made a bribe to the sergeant. And the sergeant takes his bribes and he kicks it up to the captain, and the captain takes his bribes and he kicks it up to the noble house. See, that's how it works down here. The noble houses put the captains in order, the captains get their people in order, and then the money flows to them and back up, and as long as it keeps flowing upwards, everyone's happy. By the way, don't piss off any guards. Individually, they ain't much, but there's a lot of them, and boy howdy, are they happy to break some knees.
Yeah, I noticed. Already got one fella. I wouldn't be surprised if he took a pop at me.
Oh, man, don't be surprised if he does his attempts it later on. And let's be honest, they'll probably pick your pockets once they're done.
Well, they can try.
Oh, yeah, they'll give it a shot. But they're also ain't too interested in fighting with mercenaries. But on the other hand, do you really want to piss off the local guard here? Word will spread, and it'll spread up and up and up. And trust me, the noble houses don't like having mercenaries try and get their attention by killing guards, so...
How do they like mercenaries trying to get their attention?
Well, one, they don't. But if they need some deniable asset, then they can typically get some good view of how people are going to operate in the arena. That's always a positive. Only one hunting in the arena right now is the young blade, so if you want to kill somebody with no real ethical quandary, always a positive.
That's half of why I play this game.
Dude, man, Rami's running back to log in right now.
Guys, what I missed? All right, well, that's probably our next move then.
Plus, you could always bet on yourselves. Now, normally the arena's going to be just, it's entertainment. It's how they execute people. If you work, your magic in there a bit, you might be able to get a deal, get your face up on posters around the city. Maybe you can sponsor, I don't know. She pulls out the bottle and kind of swashes it around. Label fell off years ago, but this stuff's pretty good. She pours out another 2 shots of it.
Graham is going to match pace, because I feel like a common business tactic down here would be to get the person you're trying to get the money of shit-faced. So he will try to pace himself.
She knocks back the drink again.
Graham will take a sip of his.
Anyway, that information's free for you, because I like you. And you're new to the city. I don't want you getting killed. Because it seemed like you'd be good paying customers.
Well, we might be. We might have to go get some money out of the arena the way we've been going through money since we got here.
Yeah, well, congratulations. You found the secret to the city. Money talks and anything else walks. Except for violence, of course, but they often go hand in hand. So anyway, you won't get paid going in the arena, but you can bet on yourselves. You're newish, so you might be able to get some good bets going for you. That's always a popular tactic. Plus, everybody in the city loves the arena. As even the noble houses, they got their teams who go in, sponsored by them, make short work. It's how the houses kind of fight without actually fighting, you know?
Suppose that makes sense.
Oh,
They
here's the other thing I keep an eye on. All right, don't cause too much trouble. It's an acceptable amount of violence, but if you piss off the noble houses, they'll all band together and they're gonna sick the Shadow Legion on you. You know them?
can't say as I do.
That's the Sharmouth, standing army of the city. Every noble
Uh,
house, depending on their how many people they gotta donate a kid to the Sharmouth, raised up from childhood into warriors, and then their boss there gets told by the council what to do, and so the council just sick them on anybody they don't like.
not too different from up above, I guess.
Well, my understanding is up above they don't force children to train in the army, but
Not directly, no. All right.
just something
So,
to keep in mind.
what sort of grudges do the houses have with each other that may not be settled in the arena?
Oh, they have all sorts. Of course, for that information you got to pay, but like I said, I got bills to pay myself. It's not like I can just have this detective agency free. Got to pay my taxes and all that.
Uh, Graham will slide over 15 gold, and some for info and some for the bottle.
She,
Get yourself another one. Something
haha,
nice.
thank you. She pours out a third shot for each glass. All right, so you got your five big houses. You got Azael, you got Vilblid, Theldris, Ruzel, and Kinthric, and they like each other about. Well, they don't like each other. Let's just put it that way. But they're willing to work with each other to make sure everything goes around more or less smoothly. Each big house sends two members to the council, and then every district votes on another council member. Those are your little houses, the minor ones. Every minor house is hoping a big house gets knocked down and they can get promoted. Now, there's no open warfare, which is why the Sharmith are all formed from the different houses, and their Archon, their leader, reports to the council. Make sure everyone stays honest as best you can figure. But,
Okay.
they fight each other via. They got their mercenaries who use for disposable assets. They're all have their hands in various businesses. So they all sponsor different raid groups, try and sell the most slaves. Mostly economic, I guess you could call it. Or they'll use young blades to fight other young blades who are prospective house members. It's all kind of in the background. As long as the civilized folk, as they put it in the inner city, don't see it, everyone's happy.
There any current animus going on that we could take advantage of to get some influence and sway?
That I'll have to find out for you. I do have a pass to the inner city, but that one's a little bit more on the old rough side. Yeah, houses don't like to air their dirty laundry, so to speak, so they're not really willing to say to me, oh, well, of course, I don't like this person, but, they got their assassins running around. I suppose that's the other thing you gotta be aware of. Walk around with guards if you're in one of the houses, because because she's slurring her words a little as the drink takes effect. Look, it's dangerous to be part of the house, but it's also very lucrative, which is why people like it. The one
Makes
thing I
sense.
do know is when she's in the house, it's considered everyone inside is your friend and ally, and that one is considered, well, maybe not friend, but they are definitely Stick as tight with each other as you can. Don't betray a house member, or at least don't get caught doing it.
Okay. How about you guys? You got any questions or things you'd send them after?
I got interrupted a couple of times. Did you ask about the leader of the slaves?
Not yet. Do we want to do that?
Or maybe if that guy you left her with is trustworthy.
Yeah, maybe what we can.
That's about it. Other than that, I think what I heard, you know everything.
Yeah. All right. Here's a call it a test run. Graham will put another 5 over the table. So there's an older feller,
Mm-hmm.
kind of sits out making soup.
Okay.
Got one of those studded collars,
All right.
studs on the inside, if you understand.
Yep, I've seen him.
What can you tell me about him?
He's a slave, so nothing yet. I mean, she reaches in her desk, pulls out like a thick binder of files, slams on the table. I got all sorts of files on people, but she flips through. Let's see here. He's a orc guy, older, speaks. Whoa. She looks through. He speaks almost everything. I can't. Common, undercommon, elvish, goblin, orcish to be expected. She looks through it. Draconic, dragon. Ugh.
Hmm.
Ah, look, I'm more thorough than I remember. Yeah, this guy. Known slave, troublemaker. Has been on the whipping post at least a good 5 times. It sounds like.
If they're keeping him around despite being a troublemaker and despite his age, he's got to be useful for someone.
As far as I can tell, he's what one might refer to as a I normally the city would just throw him in the arena, have him torn apart. I think their idea they don't want to make him into a martyr. He's got a bit of influence throughout the slave districts there, so people look up to him, and mostly just minor infractions. Nothing that would get him instantly killed. But yeah, I'm surprised the overseers haven't just turned him into a pincushion yet.
You think he's got somebody looking out for him higher up, or he's useful to somebody somewhere?
If he was useful to somebody higher up, then well, I'm gonna tell you, if you got you're a slave, then you ain't really useful to somebody higher up because there's always more you can go to. Um, no, more likely he can just go to ground quickly and easily until everything blows over and people forget.
Gotcha. Anything in there about what he does or what he did?
Let's see here. Former tribe, yeah, former tribe warrior, taken down probably a good 10 years ago. Mostly worked fields until got a scythe injury to the leg. Considered to be a good enough soup tender. Um, Mostly does weaving and processing, but yeah, makes food for the slaves. Considered to be a viable opportunity for the older folk.
Oh, it's that or getting torn apart in the arena. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Well, somebody's got to feed the slaves, and even as callous as the city is, they know that. So they're willing to make, yeah, practical changes. Practical. Her eyes kind of glaze over before she releases a large burp. Practical decisions.
Gotcha. Well, we've got to start, and here, Graham is going to take out 30 more gold,
Oh, look
put
at
you on
this.
retainer for 2 3 days, assuming no out-of-pocket expenses beyond what's already been discussed.
You know, I like you. You're free with the money, and you can handle your booze pretty good. So I'll take you on retainer for a bit. I mean, I got my other jobs I'm working on, but if you come a calling, I'll come a following, tell you what you want. You want me to actually look into this guy a little more?
Uh, yeah, but only when you get around to it. We got other avenues to pay attention to. And the biggest thing is making sure we're getting attention, but not the wrong kind of attention.
Fair enough. All right, I'll keep an eye on him when I can, and I'll make sure you don't get tailed by anybody that you don't want to get tailed by. Don't
All
worry,
right.
you may see me, but you probably won't.
Well, here's to a business partnership.
She
Grandma,
pours out a fourth shot and then toasts your glass and knocks
Grandma,
back that fourth one.
just Grandma will take the last one as well.
All right, whoa, awful. And Corin, you are going to be handling a few things. You got the whole Dupla Detective Agency on your job there. So don't you worry. If you see us around, just know that we're watching your back, right?
All right.
All right.
Pleasure
Well,
doing business.
pleasure doing business with you. The
Any
rest, the two tiefling twins kind of just okay. That's fun. Corin kind of looks at you with his little more suspect. You can tell.
Anybody else got anything before we depart?
Nope. You hit all the points.
Mm-mm.
Some I forgot about.
Okay, then I guess we can either go, if it's early enough, check out the arena, or head back and wait for tomorrow. Maybe the arena.
Okay. Well, it's not terribly difficult to find the arena. You find, now that you are more aware of it, you can definitely see that the posters are plastered with gladiators and directions to the arena. Just kind of, you see a number of different gladiators, both individual and teams, showing which of the houses is sponsoring them. You also see a number of advertisements showing gladiators who are endorsing people selling clothing, metal goods, alcohols, slaves, even restaurants, as well as a couple who are advertising for brothels and the various drug dens throughout the city.
Ido's already got a wanted poster up there. Like, have you seen this man?
Not paid the prostitutes. And not paid the working lady.
Wanted for giving the prostitutes STDs instead of the other way around.
Honestly, I don't know if Kaido slept with anybody. He very well could be a
No,
virgin.
he was
He was
nonplussed by
bullied
the
into
idea
admitting
of
he did something
compelled
he didn't.
prostitution.
The only whore we have in the party is Lucia.
Wanted walking chlamydia elemental.
But you have the posters do give you a good idea of how to get to the arena.
Okay, before we go there, maybe we can see if we can collect Kaido, and I don't know if it's too early, but maybe break there for next time? Question mark.
Sure.
Assuming he's awake.
Well, all we have to say is, "Hey, Kaido, do you want to fight people?" And he'll just like leave a Kaido-shaped hole in the door, running through it.
Now, would it be like a Wile E. Coyote one, or
Wile E. Coyote one is for when he's getting dunked by his own bad decision making.
of course.
All the time.
He would look more like Colette in Tales of Symphonia, with the giant hole in the wall in the schoolhouse shaped like her.
I don't think I played that one, and I do like the Tales games.
I like the Tails game, but that one's not like for me. I don't know. Maybe it's because the freaking overworld is so close in.
But okay, you're gonna return to the hotel then.
I think so.
Okay. All right. Your hotel's relatively close by, few blocks away. Street's definitely winding, but you do have you've been down them enough times at this point that it's not too much trouble, especially as you're returning to it.
We're literally stopping by to pick up Kaido for next week.
Yeah. So you head up to the top floor suite, and we will end it here, and we'll pick this up not tomorrow, but Sunday of next week.
Hooray!
Knock on the door. A halfling and the orc come out of Kaido's room.